Construction is the lifeblood of the South Texas economy. But some say that foundation is starting to crack under the weight of the current White House, even those who voted for President Trump.
Yes, I voted for Mr. Trump, but at the same time, I'm man enough to admit that.
Mario Guerrero owns a construction business in McAllen, Texas, just minutes away from the border with Mexico, and says he's gotten death threats for speaking out publicly about his dissatisfaction with the current administration.
I thought because he was a business-oriented mind, very successful man, that I believe that we should all credit, we would see a roaring economy. Unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing.
Instead, he says, even with the stock market at record highs and unemployment still low, tariffs raised the cost of building materials, and fears of Trump administration ICE raids scared workers from showing up to job sites. It prompted him to put up a fence with no trespassing and private property signs around this entire development to make workers, he says, who have legal immigration status feel safe.
When you're seeing people get apprehended that have done everything right, to be in the United States, to provide a better life for their family, that's where you start asking yourself, did we choose the right person?
South Texas, a historically blue stronghold, flipped red in the last presidential election, with President Trump winning 12 out of the 14 counties that touched the U.S.-Mexico border, compared to the 5 he won in 2016. But some Latino Trump voters left with buyer's remorse, a trend that extends throughout the country, according to the U.S. Hispanic Business Council, a nonprofit business league advocating for Hispanic small business owners. A poll of its members in early 2025 showed nearly 70% believed President Trump's policies would improve the U.S. economy. Those sentiments now changed, with the president's approval rating under 40%, a number mirrored in NBC News' latest poll of adults nationally.
The very people that thought, this guy will fix things for me and it'll be better for my business. These circumstances are even worse now.
Javier Palomares, president and CEO of the organization, says the feeling extends beyond South Texas.
You're really rethinking the choices they made. We're kind of stuck as it is right now. That's not to say that it's too late.
Texas voters will have a chance to make their voices heard in the upcoming midterms, a Senate seat that could tip the balance of power in Washington. A runoff for the Republican ticket went the way of Trump.
Tonight, we just sent a Texas-sized message to Washington.
State Attorney General Ken Paxton, endorsed by the president, beat out John Cornyn, a 4-term senator. Paxton will face James Tallarico in the midterms.
Thank you.
The Democrats swept all but one of the counties along the border in his primary, where the population is mostly Hispanic.
The only minority destroying America is the billionaires.
Guerrero tells us he doesn't take his choice lightly.
I was a person that didn't believe in voting. I didn't think it made a difference, but now I understand that it's the only thing that we have as American citizens.
Building his business and sending a concrete message to politicians that he's looking for change.
Valerie, such an interesting story there. And, of course, the Hispanic vote is not monolithic, right? I mean, it's different in Texas, different in California, different in Florida. But from your reporting, what are the top concerns for the Latino voters in Texas economically and when it comes to immigration?
Well, Tom, the U.S. Hispanic Business Council says in a survey of its members, some of the top business challenges were gas and energy, and not just in Texas, across the country, but gas and energy prices, followed by the cost of goods and, of course, the cost of labor. As we mentioned, workers are potentially not showing up to job sites, as we mentioned there in interviewing Mario Guerrero, over fears of immigration ICE raids. So really, labor is something that they're really focused on. Something on the opposite end of the spectrum, though, in contrast, other categories like taxes, government regulations, and crime, those issues were far less of a concern, 20% or less. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.